In this video, I'm going to explain why your synapses might just get fried barbecue scop style if you were a net-capable solo or netrunner in Night City. Night City itself is a hellscape, but the net is a different beast. It is a fragmented but vast space filled with digital information, controlled by corporations, each housing their own data fortresses, teeming with corporate secrets, eddies to make, and the possibility of fame for you from your net-inclined peers. I mean, who doesn't like a digital pat on the back? The risk of getting flatlined is high, of course, but there are certain advantages of cruising the net and frying your enemies. But you better hope Netwatch doesn't catch on to where you're not supposed to be. They'll flatline anyone who even takes a glance at the black wall. But okay, web surfer, before we go on, if you haven't checked the previous video in the series titled Why You Wouldn't Make It as a Solo, take a look at the video description for the link, as some things we have covered there relate here. Okay, first let's define what a net-capable solo and a netrunner is. A netrunner is someone who possesses an intricate understanding of computer systems, programming languages, and has the ability to create or modify potent daemon programs. Armed with their specialized hardware, they are as formidable as heavily armed corporate soldiers. A net-capable solo is all of these things but ventures into the field for merc work, and so may not be specialists in net running, but can still be considered netrunners. While many runners operate independently, driven by personal goals, a select few have entered into agreements with powerful mega corporations, aligning their interests with the corporate world, while others run in groups and work with fixers. In the contemporary landscape, virtually every corporation maintains a substantial amount of netrunners on their payroll. The life of a netrunner is an interesting one. In the past, netrunners like yourself enjoyed a position of dominance in the realm of cyberspace, employing skulljacks to navigate a vast interconnected global network. To sustain their intensive activities, they often required specialized suits to regulate their body temperatures, although resourceful individuals could resort to more rudimentary methods, like immersing themselves in ice-filled bathtubs. However, this era came to a dramatic end following the catastrophic actions of the legendary netrunner Raish Bartmoss. The once accessible cyberspace was transformed into a realm infested with malicious demons and artificial intelligences, who were effectively severed from the outside world by what appeared to be an impregnable barrier known as the Black Wall. Because of this, the net is now a space controlled by corporations with an iron grip. As the legend Spider Murphy notes, Bartmoss was wrong. Now the independent net is no more. Well, damn. Anyway, so where do you start? Where do you fit in? From an early age, you started learning whenever you could. Computer literacy labs at school, forums where information was shared freely, surprisingly in the age of Netwatch. These forums set challenges for individuals to do and share knowledge often. Like many who get their start in net running, you took on mini jobs, scraping data terms, hacking schisms, reprogramming billboards, hell, even changing your grades on the school system. But most of what you do at this early age falls into the domain of practical jokes. Sometime down the line, smarter, older, and a bit wiser, who would have thunk, you invest in some cyberware to better interface with the net, specifically a neural interface plug, which is needed for what you have in mind in the future. So you decide to infiltrate the holders of trans-American bank accounts and siphon off enough eddies for yourself and your compadre who helped you with the job. Nova, you finally got enough scratch to properly get chipped with cyberware. You realize you're okay at net running, but you're not the best yet. You press on, aiming to make a name for yourself regardless. You link up with other netrunners, challenging and pushing each other as those who work in tech do. You suggest hitting Kang Tao's data fortress. They have been producing a new series of smart weapons, one of which will change the weapons game. Stealing the specs would allow you to sell it to the highest bidder. The job sounds simple enough, but you need to jack in locally, a physical port to access the Corp subnet. You've trained for this somewhat. You've become adept at using weaponry from slotting combat shards you've stolen over the years, and think to yourself, I'm built different. Hand-to-hand combat, swordplay and gun tactics are all swimming in your head. Some consider you to be a net-capable solo, somewhat adept at combat and net running. You move to Kantal's server location at night. Teaming with guards, you manage to slip past them using the environment to your advantage. Distractions, hacking TVs, radios, sending out fake stand-down messages, but this has alerted the on-site runners. Despite this, you get to a terminal you need to jack in. Your cyberdeck in tow, you start to search for what you're looking for. Schematics and any dirt on Kantal on the production of the new smart weapon. The on-site runners are onto you. You decide to leave them a little surprise before getting out. You've got schematics, but it's too late. You've been made. This brings us to the first reason why you wouldn't make it. Netrunners are your biggest competitors. Whatever you can do to them, they can most likely do to you. Normally, corporations keep a suite of netrunners on their payroll in case of any attack. So, if you go after any corp, you'll be sure to find netrunners. Any demon you use can be used against you. To add to that, some individuals have eyes so thick, their countermeasures can fry an individual's neural wear. For an example of this, see when Lucy tried to hack Adam Smasher. Reason number 2. Your fellow netrunners might sell you out. In Night City, do you really have any friends? Well, true friends are hard to come by. Everyone is trying to make it and be someone. Even those with the best intentions sometimes falter. Netrunners selling out their compadres are not uncommon. One minute you're on a train home, next minute Arasaka zeroes you for payback on a job you did. It is often the case that selling out individuals can be the fastest way to the top in Night City, but you'll just have to wrestle with your soul when you get to your destination. Anyway, time to come back to life. We aren't done with you yet. So what else could kill you? You've come back from the job, eddies and schematics in hand. You are celebrating your win with your tunes, with some broses and some BDs. You classy person. Sometime later you receive an encrypted message. You've been noticed by Militech, who tell you Kantal are on your culo, but they can protect you. Great. Corporations are always on the prowl for fresh talent, looking to utilize the skills of runners to get a leg up on their competitors. Militech is no different to Arasaka, who have gone as far as soul-killing talented netrunners to be used as they so wish. So Me was drafted by the NUSA after a job, so it's in the realm of possibilities. Just your luck. Militech have this sweet new project that they want you to be a part of, taming AIs with the latest tech. What could go wrong? Reason number 3 you won't make it, the corps take you in and use you. To these corps you are nothing but a fresh new resource ready to be exploited for corporate gain. Of course you'll be compensated, and even individuals like Raish Bartmoss, Alt Cunningham and Spider Murphy all at one time worked for a corp, for the sake of mutual interest, so this path is not out of the ordinary. However, most of those netrunners are dead, so there's that. Projects like Sinosure, where runners were drafted in to take part in taming rabid AIs, was a rage at one point. So yeah, maybe stay away from the corpse. Okay, yeah, I hear you say, but combat, you would get them all, wouldn't you? Well, let's take a look at a few combat scenarios for why you wouldn't make it there. Through your experience running around Night City, you've come across some dangerous demons, some which make individuals unalive themselves, give them cyberpsychosis, or cripples people. In fact, you've heard of an individual running around Night City doing that very thing alone to groups of individuals, their names starting with a V. Anyway, you've used a few yourself, and in a few near-death circumstances, used them to save your life. For instance, when you have gone against someone who had a berserker operating system, you chose to cripple their movement until they were vulnerable, overheating their body, and then shooting them at point-blank range after some lashes with a monowire, barely escaping with your life. But a netrunner's weakness is normally in the physical domain. Netrunners do not typically have the solo attributes in combat of someone like Morgan Blackhand. That said, netrunners have a phenomenal sense of perception, able to take in more information due to their cyberware. Some netrunners have been known to be able to split their psyche, concentrating on multiple tasks at a time, but this does little to help in combat. For instance, who do you think is winning between a netrunner and a Sendevistan user? Well, it depends. Basically, who is faster to the draw wins. If you hack a Sendevistan user's cyberware before they activate it, you will probably win. But if they activate it before you see them, then you'll probably witness your death in slow motion. So is life in Night City. Let's talk about cyberspace. A netrunner from their chair can only do so much. Sometimes physical access is required, and that is where things tend to go wrong. That's why netrunners will sometimes get solos to get them access to physical locations such as servers. But anyway, let's say you're at home in a secure location netrunning. You're safe, right? Navigating cyberspace in itself is not inherently dangerous. In fact, cruising cyberspace can be a mind-expanding thing, which can lead to a change in consciousness. But as research shows, changes in consciousness and experiencing nirvana is in itself not practical for everyday life, and chasing that feeling can lead to addiction and burnout. For constant exposure to the digital realm can take a toll on a netrunner's mental and physical health. The addiction of the rush of netrunning and the relentless pressure of staying ahead of the game can lead to burnout, causing a netrunner to make mistakes and even self-destruct. Even the best so-called netrunners are not immune to this, and perhaps maybe their skill makes it worse. For Bartmoss, it is said that he would stay in his chair neglecting himself and would dissociate from his body, living purely in cyberspace at one point. Time to talk about our old friend, Cyberpsychosis. You see, prolonged exposure to the chaotic and unpredictable nature of cyberspace can induce cyberpsychosis. It is defined as a mental condition defined by those losing touch with reality. In extreme cases, this can lead to a netrunner going on a murderous rampage, endangering themselves and others. Netrunners have lost their mind and slaughtered groups of homeless people, unleashed demon attacks, and have had to be put down by MaxTac. This is not to mention the heavy body modification cyberware that you would be doing, most of which would be done on your brain. Speaking of going a bit crazy, yes, MaxTac. MaxTac, who have their own suite of netrunners who themselves border on cyberpsychosis, will be sent to hunt you down. These individuals are augmented to such a high degree that fighting them is an assured death warrant, because they won't be alone. At least a 4-man squad will be sent after you if you ever turn into a psycho. But hey, I'm sure that won't happen because you're built different. So there you have it. The law of netrunners explained, and why you wouldn't make it as a netrunner yourself in Night City. I'm surprised you're still alive. Maybe you are the next Rage Bartmoss, but please don't. We need more Spider Murphys and Alt Cunninghams. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. It makes a huge difference and keeps me off the streets of Night City. Till next time.